My name is Milinda Ysasi, and I was born here in Grand Rapids. I think we don't become influential or have that opportunity to use our voice unless we have other people who have used their influence for us. So to me, it means the honor of making sure that I'm fulfilling that influence in the community. So connecting with others, using my positions of power, understanding what other people's experience are is what does it mean to be, influential to me. One of my most proudest professional achievements for me, without a doubt, is becoming the first Latina, first Latino ever to serve on the Grand Rapids City Commission. So it was an elected position. It was right before the pandemic. In 2019, I ran and I won. I had wanted to run for office for so many times, so many things I ran, I didn't win. And so when that actually happened, when they told me, I think at 10:30 that you won, after 18 months of working really hard, asking people to help and support me, I I cherish that, and every time I go into City Hall, I think about the work that was put in, and I really make sure that I don't take it for granted. So, what is one thing that we can do to help maximize the potential of Latinos in our region is, I think the question is really important. First and foremost, I think we have to understand that not all Latinos have similar experiences. We're not a monolith. I mentioned that I'm from Grand Rapids. My grandparents came here as farm workers in 1949, my great grandparents. And my experiences as a Latina in West Michigan is very different than, friends of mine who have come when they were 10 years old or 7 years old or, have just moved here for a new job. But ultimately, the best thing that we can do is to make sure that we are finding new ways to connect to one another. So that's why being part of and starting the Latina Network was so important to me, because it was a way to maximize the potential. I kept being asked to serve on boards. We need a Latina, we need a Latino voice. I cannot be the only one. The four of us that started it were not the only ones. And now we have more than 500 people who connect with our membership network, come to events. And that's really, to me, how do you maximize it? You figure out your way to plug in and to connect people and to remember that you're not the only one. What has been the most difficult lesson that I've had to learn as a Latino in West Michigan? Not everybody's going to like you, I think is probably the lesson I've learned. But I think that's okay. That's actually some really good advice that a colleague gave me a long time ago and said, Melinda, everyone is not going to like you, and that's okay. And especially, I think, as a Latina, as a woman, we really want people to like us. At least that's how I grew up, wanting to be very likable, not disagreeing. And so I think sometimes the lesson is that even though you disagree, and even though people might not be your friends, the person you hang out with, the people you go on vacation with, the people that know your parents, we still have a responsibility as Latinos to work together. And so that's what I've always tried to take in mind, is remembering there are people who are our friends, there are people who are acquaintances, there are people who are our coworkers, and ultimately we need to do what's in the best interest of the community. And that's what I tell young people when I mentor them. Everybody is not going to be your friend, especially if you want to be in a leadership position. I serve as an executive director, and the work is not about being friends. It's about getting work connected and remembering that ultimately, what is that common goal for Latinos and being successful here in West Michigan? So what advice would I give to young Latinos in West Michigan? Have fun. Honestly, when I was young, I acted like I was old. I was always working, always doing things. And while that is important to have a good work ethic, and while it's important to be focused, life is very short. And I think that's something I've learned in the last year. Many people know my husband was assaulted randomly. And after that attack, I think the reminder I had was don't work so hard. Don't stay so late. Don't short yourself on time to renew yourself, to be with your family. I'm lucky to still have both of my grandmas living here in West Michigan. I know people who never met their grandparents. And so don't work so hard. Be balanced. That's the advice that I would give them. Cherish our life. Life is very short. There's a lot of Mexican songs that talk about that. And so to remember to enjoy yourself, and what I always tell people is, I take my work very seriously, whether it's as an executive director, starting an organization, being a city commissioner. But I don't take myself too seriously. Have fun, let people get to know you, and enjoy yourself and your family. One, I think I would like to say thank you for the recognition to whoever nominated me, to think that this was an honor that, I was deserving of. Two, to the magazine, thank you for lifting up the voices of Latinos in West Michigan. I think it's really important that we have stories that are told from our perspective that highlight, the diversity, the great work in the stories of Latinos here in West Michigan.